Hello students, I hope all of you are well and healthy. Stay home and study. And I am again here with your next poem, that is poem 3, A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. Now about the poet. George Leslie Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He is considered as the most important Welsh writer of the post-war period, and his literary work have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Vendor, Phoenix Living Poet series, A Ransoms, etc. George Leslie Norris was born on 21st May 1921 in Methurell, Tafdale, South Wales. Leslie grew up in Wales during the Great Depression. He enjoyed reading books and playing sports as a kid. He attended Georgetown Primary School from 1926 to 1931. His parents, George, Mary Jane Norris, profession writer, technician, nationality, United Kingdom, Wales, and place of death, Provo. Introduction. The Tiger in Zoo is written by Leslie Norris. Explained that the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Summary now. The poet is Leslie Norris. The poem is about tiger that is very beautiful, and he is walking in his little cage. He is having a beautiful stripes on his skin and has a velvet like soft paws. But he is not happy and is quite angry in the cage. The poet says that the tiger may try to hide behind the long grass, but here he is not able to do so. Actually, nothing is happening naturally. He is in a strong cage, and so he is helpless. He cannot show his power to the visitors. Poet is describing the tiger as being powerless and agonized. Cage life has totally changed his personality. Thus, the intention of the poet is to say that the animals famous for its fearfulness and freedom is confined and sad only due to the human beings. So here we start our stanza with explanation. A tiger in the zoo. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He is not very happy because he is not free, and he is confined in the zoo, moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can take only a few steps because the cage is small and it's not easy to move in it. One cannot hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger tries to control his anger by quietly walking in limited area of his cage. He is angry because he is not free in the cage. Second stanza. He should be lurking shadow, sliding through the long grass near the waterhole where plump deer pass. The poet says that if this tiger was free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and eat it, but the tiger is in cage and cannot do anything. Third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses. Snarl means to shout, to squeak, to roar, where the houses are located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize people with his sharp tooth and claws. He would create fear among the people living in the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of this cage, ignoring visitors. Now the poet comes to reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of a strong building material. He further says that as a tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bar. He just stalks in the cage. Stalks means to move in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is being restricted by the cage. Therefore, he never tries to terrorize the visitors as he cannot attack them. Fifth stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with brilliant eyes and brilliant stars. The poet says that in that night, the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles of the police which are used to guard at night. So in the night, the tiger hears the sound of these cars. He then stares at the night, at the shining stars, with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger is sad and he is confined in the cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them. The central idea of this poem, that the man has done a wrong with the tiger by snatching away its freedom as well as its abilities. The poet tells the readers how tiger would have been enjoying if it were free. As it has been encaged, it walks just a few steps because cage is quite small. It has a rage in its eyes. Rage means angerness in his eyes, but remains quiet because it is helpless. Theme of this poem: liberty and freedom. Every human or the animal loves freedom. No one likes to be imprisoned in the. So in this poem, the tiger is not free and he is encaged, and thus it's showing its angerness. Now, animals' right. The poet is also throwing the light on the rights of the animals, and the man has made these wild animals to live in the cage, and they have just unjust to them because they want a freedom. Now the conclusion is that it creates a positive re-signification of the tigers in this poem. Instead of showing to the man-eaters or cruel creature, the poet shows that in fact hardly ever bother with the human being, and that is hunt only when it needs to eat. By showing this relatability aspects of the tiger's life and shows how graceful the movement can be. The poet is giving an important message. He is telling us that it is unjust to remove animals from their natural habitat, and that we must strive to conserve that habitat for them at all the cost. Hope you enjoyed reading this analysis of tiger and summary of this tiger. Here some poetic devices are there. The rhyming scheme of this poem is each of these 5 stages of a tiger zoo follows the simple rhyming scheme A, B, C, B, and other personification is there that is used to bestow the human qualities or something that is have the human. It refers to the tiger and it's meant as he. Metaphor is also mentioned here in this line. Some word meaning are there. Just read and write it in your classwork copy. Short question answers, and these are all short question answer also you have to do in your classwork copy. And lastly, the questions for practice. You have to write all these question answer in the copy. No extra questions you have to attempt. Well, these much questions which are given in this video, that much only you have to attempt. Okay students, thank you.